can't stop. A family shop. Think Thayer. Come on, let's get rolling. Come on, let's get moving. Think Thayer.
Yeah, I think we're all a little bit tired this afternoon. Long night last night. Not only was Akron playing Toledo, but probably one of the better World Series that any of us in this room has ever had the opportunity to see. So although it didn't end well for the Cleveland fans out there, a lot of people in Chicago, they're pretty happy today. Last week's ball game, you know, a couple weeks ago I said that a play by or a faked punt kind of changed the flow of that game, and it worked in our favor. And this week we attempted another fake and we didn't get it, and it probably changed the flow in this week's ball game. That being said, we had our opportunities. NIU is a good football team. You know, they're 3-2 in the West, and we got a shot to finish the thing out the right way. You know, we fell to 1-8. We've got 3 ball games left, 12 practices, and we've got to do all that we can do to continue to improve and to continue to evaluate and find the pieces to get this thing going in the right direction, which we will.
Going back to that punt, big punt.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a thought there that I know we talked after the game about how the defense had adjusted to some of the quarterback runs and stuff, but they were still able to kind of get down the field at times. Was a thought there that maybe the defense wouldn't hold, so you go for it?
You know, we've been in a lot of situations to where I felt like we needed momentum. You know, I mean, we needed, you know, it was time to roll the dice, so to say. It was kind of dead on the sidelines a little bit, and I didn't really feel that juice and that energy or that belief is what you're talking about, and felt like then it needed to be ignited, and it didn't work. And that's sometimes the job of a coach to sense those moments. What you want to do, you want to build a team where you don't have to make those type of decisions. That it's intrinsic upon them. To know how to handle the ebb and flow of a ball game. Right now, we're not there. We're not that ball club. We're working diligently to get to that point. But right now, as a coach, there are going to be opportunities where I've got to tend to push buttons.
Is it hard to get the guys going? Keeping that energy up, I guess, when
But the hard part is not so much getting them. Like I said, I mean, as coaches, as ball players, come Tuesday, man, we reboot. We reboot and we get fired up, and it could be the Dallas Cowboys we're going to play. And when I lay down a night before the game, I believe we're going to win it. And I think most of the guys that play this game are the same way. It's what happens is once you get into that game, and you know they score quickly. We come back and we put together a 12-play drive. We go down and score. Everybody's up and everybody's excited. You know, and then boom, you have something bad happen, and you overcome it again. You get back in it, and it happens again, and then you get that. Okay, here we go, same old deal. And you know that's one of the things that when you get into a situation where you lost 7, 8 in a row, you know that you got to learn how to win. You know this team isn't the team that won or been to 3 straight MAC championships. It's a completely different team, and this group of individuals has to find leaders, and they've got to learn how to win. You know, and that's just kind of where we are.
Are you kind of surprised by that, based on, you know, your offensive line is very senior, veteran laden. You
Right.
do have some seniors sprinkled through the rest of the team. Are you kind of surprised that this is?
Well, you know, nothing surprises me anymore. You know, you say that, but we've been in every game. You know, and again, when we sit up here and we go through these press conferences and we have these meetings and everything, we talk in absolutes. You know, and so let me temper that in saying that you know, again, they've battled through some adversity, but and at the same time we have we got a lot of things that we brought on ourselves. You know, we've beaten ourselves a lot this year as well, and I'm surprised by that. You know, because that's again is not the quality of a championship team. It's the quality of a 1-8 team, and it's something that we got to improve on.
Is there a particular example that you can give of that beating yourself kind of situation?
Well, turnovers and penalties, number one. I mean, think about the start of the second half. You know, you go out, you know, we give that halftime speech. You go out and get a stop. You know, we've been moving the ball in the first half. You know, defense get a stop. Let's get the ball back, and let's go win a game. You know, we don't want them to give it to us. Let's go win a ball game. You know, you go out, you get the stop. You know, and you get a positive punt return, and you get a clip in the back at the end of the punt return. And then you got a kid, you know, you got personal foul right on that, and you're backed up -10. You know, and then, you know, those are the things that you got to overcome. Those are the things that we got to stop doing.
And when you said you're looking to find the leaders, is that kind of like the primary focus right now?
No, really. The primary focus right now is to continue to develop, all right, to continue to improve on a day-to-day basis, because at the end of the day, that's all that you can do.
Looking ahead to Akron,
Mhm.
on paper they don't have the best run defense. Is this an opportunity to get your ground game going?
Yeah, he liked to do that. We tried to do it the last couple of weeks, you know, and I think that if you go back and you look at the game last night with Toledo in the second half, they kind of leaned on them a little bit and kind of warmed down. And then 2 weeks prior, Buffalo upset them down there in Buffalo with a kid ran for 287 yards or whatever it was, and one of the second most in the country. So they're a little bit undersized. Their back end's very athletic. You know, offensively, they pose a ton of problems. Their skill is as good as anyone in the league. They're equipped for a shootout. So yes, to answer your question, it's twofolded. You want to take advantage of a smaller defensive line, but you also want to keep the ball away from the offense.
You kind of just mentioned this, but Woodson, their quarterback,
Mhm.
how crucial is it to stop him?
Well, you can't let him get in a rhythm. You know, and again, I'm not necessarily talking about sacks. You got to push him off his points. You got to move him around a little bit, and then once you do that, you got to be careful, because if he gets outside of contain, he's got the ability to throw and run and make some big plays. So it's get him off his spots, get him out of rhythm, and kind of contain him inside the pocket.
Will you talk a little bit about the spark that Will Watson has given to you on special teams?
Yeah. I mean, Will, you know, and again, saw a glimpse of it in the spring, and that he could be a special player, and really tough eval in the spring because we didn't get outside too much, and really it's tough to kick it indoor over there. But he has definitely been a shot in the arm as far as special teams come, and really as far as defense goes as well. We've played a tad bit better on the back end throughout the course of conference play, and that has a lot to do with him being back there, and because he is one of those guys that brings that juice and that energy that we were talking about earlier. You know, it'd been nice to have him all year, but that's not the case. So he's got 3 ball games left, and I'm excited to watch him play.
For us, I mean, the numbers obviously jump. Punt return, kickoff return. What is it that has allowed him to have success?
Athletic ability, and you know, and he's confident. I mean, that's probably the greatest issue with our football team right now. You know, it's confidence. It's guys that have been there, done that. If you go back and you look at some of the guys we lost, you look at Matty J and, you know, his composure and the way he handled himself, and you look at, what was 1 and 7, the way they ran around, the confidence in which they played with, that's a big part of it. We've got guys that have some athletic ability, or we wouldn't have been in any of these games. They can make plays. It's a matter of them believing in themselves and allowing the moment not to be too big for them, or pressing, or trying to do too much. And again, that comes with reps, and they're getting better. You know, last week, Tuesday's ball game, we had a little bit, you know, we had a little bit of the drops a little bit again for the first time in a while, but they came back and responded, and those same guys that dropped those balls, I think each one of them caught a touchdown. And earlier on, it would have just snowballed. So that was a positive. It's not all negative, you know what I mean? But as you guys will understand, I'm not going to sit up here and paint a perfect, pretty picture when we've got a 1-8 ball club. That's not being very realistic. I've been consistent with this statement. I am proud of this football. I enjoy coaching this football team. And we will get this thing going in the right direction.
With the struggles of the run game the last 2 weeks,
Yeah.
are there issues with the offensive line getting pushed, or the backs not seeing holes?
Well, we've done a decent job for most of the year of getting decent movement really against most people we played. We could be better once we get to the second level. There's some times where you have to run the ball, and you just don't want to run the RPO, so to say, and then when you're reading the safety of the linebacker where you want to run it, and your running back has to understand where that extra guy's coming from. I mean, everybody in the country does it, and at that point, you've got to be able to make that guy miss. And we could do a better job of doing that. And we're working on it, and we'll continue to teach it. We'll continue to preach on it. We got a kid out there right now busting his tail going through drills, just visualizing the same thing right now. So we know what our issues are, and we're doing what we need to improve them.
Going back to that confidence for a second,
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree or disagree with the statement that playing better would give you some confidence, or is it all or nothing? Really, it's going to take a win to get that confidence.
Well, the confidence has grown throughout the course of the conference play. I think most of you guys would agree with that statement. But at the end of the day, man, it's about winning and losses. You know what I mean? It's about winning and losing. Nothing's going to change that until we get a W. But you got to figure out, and you got to find a way to get that win. We've been in all these games. We've been there. There's been a point in every single one of these games to where, all right, we could have put the gas pedal down and taken off and taken a win instead of sitting back. And the only win we got this year, we sat back and we had to all close our eyes and see whether or not they're going to give the game to us or not. That's not what you do. That's not the football team we're going to be, and that's not what we're striving for. We want to go and we want to take football games.